Did you get a shot today?
Yes.
And how was it?
Bad.
Why was it bad?
Because it hurted really bad.
Was it worth it?
No.
Was it worth it when you got a lollipop?
Yes.
So it was worth it.
What does worth it mean? Better?
Yes. Would you do it all over again if you could still get that lollipop?
Yeah.
Okay. Then look at that camera and say, I'm a big girl. Give it a big thumbs up.
I'm a big girl.
Nice.
These my dollars make it hurt.
Okay, so this week we're ultimately talking about our childhoods and how we think that they maybe shaped our relationship, or if they did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, how surprisingly different that they were and how surprisingly similar I think that we kind of are
Yeah,
is pretty interesting.
that's interesting. And I wanted to get into how you felt about some of the differences, because after listening to a podcast yesterday, it started to make me think about something,
Okay.
but we'll get into that.
Okay.
So do you want to start with my childhood or your childhood?
Let's start with yours.
Yeah.
Yours was much.
So we go out with a bang.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, thinking back on my childhood, it was basically picturesque. You know, I had two parents. They stayed married. Granted, you know, they had some hardships, but who doesn't?
Mm-hmm.
I grew up in church. I did soccer. I rode dirt bikes. Like, I honestly think I had a pretty normal childhood. Maybe if we stuck with therapy a little bit longer, I would have discovered some abnormalities that I haven't realized yet. But for the most part, I think I had a pretty normal childhood.
My childhood was very different from that. I had a good childhood. I have an amazing mother that, you know, no matter what was going on and no matter what had happened in her life or in my life, she always made sure that I was good, that I didn't realize that we were a very broken little family.
So you were a broken family, but you didn't realize it as a child.
No, I didn't at all. I really didn't.
So when, like, you went to school, you kind of just thought you just had a run-of-the-mill family.
Well, there was a little fib that was told to me when I was a child that I honestly believed pretty much up until about high school, until I told somebody the story one day, and then I was like, wait a minute. That doesn't sound right.
That happens sometimes. Or you go to school and you say something and the kids are like, what?
Yeah.
And you're like, what? They're like, are you serious? Like, that's crazy. And you're like, that's not normal. And they're like, no.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was pretty eye-opening, and I think it caused me to have a lot of issues in high school after realizing what had actually transpired. So
what was your childhood trauma?
when I was about 2, my father committed suicide. While we were all in the house, and I was told that it was an accident, which is, you know, any time, of course, when you're a kid, you know, people ask about your family, like, you know, what's your mom do? What's your dad do? And I was like, well, my dad died. He accidentally shot himself. And so then in high school, I don't remember what class it was, but it was, you know, the beginning of, I think it was freshman year. And, you know, I had a teacher that was hey, let's go around and share our lives. What's your family like? What are your parents like? So the question came up of what does my dad do, or what is my dad like?
So this was never prefaced to any of your family.
What do you mean?
Well, sometimes when a family member dies, like a parent will tell them, like, hey, this happened, so could you be careful around the subject?
Yeah, no. Nobody ever said that to anybody. But I feel like, I guess my mom probably thought that I'd realized at this point. I mean, I was a teenager.
Yeah.
Um,
Which is actually a good lie. I mean,
yeah,
that's actually probably what I would do.
is lie and say it was an accident.
Yeah, for a 2-year-old. Yeah.
I feel like, though, I
think
would have
so.
at some point prior to being the age that I was, have, sat down and
Well, things that happen when you're that young and you're told a certain thing. I mean, like, how many times have you been on the whole trend? I was today years old when I found out. Like, that's just
that's true.
You just stick with these things and like
It just kind of it goes so long that
yeah,
it's just kind of
ingrained in your memory.
that's what happened, and you just don't correct
And not
it.
only that, but that's a thing that can happen. You were too young to know. Like, if you were like 9, you could be like, well, he was battling depression or whatever. But you probably hadn't seen any of that.
No, I mean, I was 2. Like, honestly, I have very few memories of that age, and I don't think most people have a lot of memories from when they were 2. But I knew that I have a memory of something happening, but I don't think I realized. I didn't realize at the time exactly what it was.
So when did you realize, or did someone tell you?
No, I think when I was just kind of, I told the regular story. My dad accidentally shot himself. He was trying to clean off his gun, and it just kind of went off. And I think it took me maybe a couple minutes after, other people start. Yeah, it was my story. Other people started talking, and I was sitting there thinking, wait a minute. How I was trying to think of how it how it would happen in my head, and I was like, that doesn't
tell the story like head story, like that's not
that doesn't sound right. I feel like I'm lying. So yeah.
So how did you handle that moment of realization?
I really just I didn't say anything to anybody. I think I just went home that day and I'm pretty sure I just actually went to bed when I got home.
So
I didn't really talk to anybody
did you feel
about
like you
it.
were reliving that trauma with this new information that you discovered?
I guess, yeah. I don't know that it felt like reliving trauma. Just realizing, hey, I thought that a terrible accident happened, and really my dad chose to not be here for the rest of my life. So it was more like, I guess it was more just depressing to me. Like, it made me feel kind of like, why wouldn't he want to stick around? Like, what could have been so bad that you don't want to stick around and see your kid grow up? Because I mean, I think of that now that we have Ella, and I don't feel like there's any moment in my life that could be so bad that I would be okay with leaving her, and leaving her with this kind of trauma that I've been through.
Trauma. But I'm assuming your dad was just in the throes of depression, just as bad as it can get.
I don't really know. I haven't talked to my mom a whole lot about it. I know that after it happened, she, I think, went through therapy. I know that she had a really tough time. She would have nightmares and things like that were very, very significant to her. So I didn't really want to bring it up to her. I didn't really want to bring it up to anybody else in my family, just because, I didn't know how they would how they would take it, I guess. I felt like I would upset them more than getting answers for myself. And I just didn't want to do that.
Right. I understand that, yeah, because they had to live through that too.
Yeah. I mean, and my family was very close. I mean, we all kind of lived in the same general area. I know after it happened, my mom took me just down the street to my grandparents' house. And then my grandfather is the one that went over there and I think called 911 and all that. So we were all like right there together. We were all pretty close.
That's interesting because I obviously don't think this would ever happen, but my mind is constantly playing through worst case scenarios. So there has been a point where I thought like, what would I do if I came home and not that if you had done anything to yourself, but if something had happened while you're home alone. Mm-hmm. Like, what would I do? And my game plan would be, since there's no family members close to here, I'd probably try to stay as composed as possible and then, like, see if Sarah can come get Ella, or probably just take Ella to Dakota's, but you're going to play with Eli for a little bit.
Yeah.
Then get my parents to drive up here, get your mom, try to figure out a game plan, and then figure out how to explain it, how to break it to Ella.
How to explain it to Ella, yeah.
Gently without her having to just walk in and see it. Like, that would be my game plan, I think.
I have not come up with a game plan, so I guess.
Gotta have a game plan. You never
I guess
know.
I'll start thinking about that one. Yeah, I don't know. I think my first instinct after calling 911, which you didn't say, but my first instinct after that would
that should probably be in there.
Would probably
there's a dead body for like 6 hours. So I'm like, I think I forgot.
For your parents to get.
I forgot a step. Hang on.
I forgot to do something. Hang on. But yeah, I think I would definitely probably hope to gosh that Sydney is home and go across the street. I would definitely trust them to keep Ella entertained. Kaya, I'm sure his daughter would be over there. They play together a lot, so that would be probably the first thing I did.
So that's something like I can't say I battle with, but I have like a little bit of an internal conflict that like I don't have any of this trauma. So it's almost like,
do you feel like you have no trauma or?
No, I don't feel like I have no trauma, but I don't have that degree of trauma. So it's like, and I actually think I could deal with trauma okay. I guess I don't know. But and then it's also like, well, when is my trauma going to happen then? It's kind of like, when is the shoe going to drop? That's kind of scary. I mean,
I guess if you think of it that way, like everybody's going to end up having some trauma at some point.
Yeah. I mean, the closest thing to that I've had is where I had someone very close to me attempt suicide. Mm-hmm. And I don't know how. Well, she was in depression. So.
Did you see any of those signs? Like, because you were a bit older. You were older than I was.
Yeah, I knew that she was in a very bad depression. Mm-hmm. But I think I knew that possibly she had tried something like this before, but didn't go through with it. But I don't remember if it was a thing like we're keeping a close eye on. I mean, it was very concerning. Like through this period of time, we were all concerned, and I don't know how or who found out or how. But I got a call, I think, from my dad saying she's in the Walmart parking lot. You need to go find her. So, and I'm not saying who it is, obviously, so I keep saying she, just because,
yeah,
just to, protect her story. Yeah. But so I drove down to this Walmart, which was not our normal Walmart. It was a different Walmart. So so it's probably like a little bit of, like planning in that, like, I don't want to go somewhere people know I could be at.
Yeah.
And I found her. I found like 2 boxes of like sleeping pills and pain pills or something. And And I reacted pretty well. I called 911, and then they said just keep her awake. So I just wake up. You gotta wake up. Just wake up. Just try to keep her awake. And she also had a box of brownies in the car, and that was so that it wouldn't be suspicious, is what she told me after. That she just didn't want to just go buy a bunch of pills and then be like, well, what, draw any attention to herself. But yeah, the ambulance came. I followed them to the hospital, and everything was okay. And I didn't feel panicked in the moment. I didn't feel scared. I just felt like this is what I have to do. Like, just kind of overdrive kicked in. And and I called my girlfriend on the way to the hospital, and she tried to break up with me in the car and over the phone, like out of good spirits. But she was like, do you need this right now? Like, do we need to separate? I'm like, I really don't want to talk about it. This is not on my,
It's not the time.
not on my concern list right now. She's like, oh, you're going through this. Like, let me slide in this breakup real quick. I don't know.
See if you notice.
But yeah, I mean, things got better after that, and the situation improved, and it's been more or less fine ever since. So I don't know how much that affected me as a person, I mean, obviously not nearly as much as like what you'd been through, but that's just the closest thing I have to that.
Mm-hmm.
So, did you feel different in school? Like knowing that you only had one parent?
No, because I don't remember exactly what age I was, but I was in school at the time, so I was probably like maybe 6, 7, something like that. But my mom had met someone else, and I do still remember the day that I met him. My mom was making dinner. I was playing Nintendo in the living room. He walked in the door, looked at me, and looked at my mom, and then looked back at me, and my mom was just like, "What?" But I mean, he has been my dad ever since.
Yeah.
I call him
Dad.
Even though they aren't together anymore. I mean, he is still my dad. He is the man
to be
that
fair,
raised
he
me.
has other kids around that call him dad. That
He does. He acquires children.
Yeah, he acquires children.
I mean, he's a very very sweet person, and yeah, it seems like every relationship he's been in, he's acquired a child from it. It's just not a biological one. He only has one biological daughter, so but he is the man that raised me, and so he is my dad.
Yeah.
So I never felt like I only have one parent. I mean, by the time I realized that there was something odd to not having two parents in your house, like, he was there.
Yeah. It is interesting hearing you talk about stuff like that, though, because you really talk about it in a way that, like, obviously, now it probably did have many effects on your life, but you talking about it seems like you're like, yeah.
Yeah, it was completely normal. I mean, then I definitely credit my mom for me feeling that way, because I feel like she tried very, very hard to just make sure that everything was normal, make sure everything felt normal. I had so many family members around me, my grandparents, my uncles, my cousins, we were always together. So it didn't feel like I had a small family. It didn't feel like I had a broken family. Like, we were all there. We were all together. We all spent like so much time together. Like, we were all around each other. So it was like every other day I would see them. So it didn't feel weird at all.
Yeah, that's actually an interesting difference too, because my family moved here from California. So all our family's back in California. So we didn't have that like family camaraderie. Mm-hmm. I've never been super big into those, like, let's get the whole family together.
My family loves that.
Yeah, I don't love that. But yeah, I mean, if it would just be me, mom and dad, grandma, and grandpa,
Yeah.
my sister, like that would be it. Yeah, so we never had those like big gatherings. But another thing you mentioned earlier was like your mom had these nightmares.
Yeah. So I know she has told me that she had, some nightmares about it happening, and I don't think I've ever told her actually, but I did too. And I did up until honestly very recently, like 5 years ago.
Yeah, when we first met, you would have nightmare in the middle of the night, and you would wake up screaming, like or at least a scream, and it would jolt me awake.
Yeah,
it would
sorry.
scare me to death. And I don't think like you warned me about it. It just like shocked me, and it happened quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, I think I explained it to you, after the first time that it happened. Because I do remember that. I remember you sitting straight up and saying some curse words and apologizing profusely once you realized that I was very upset. But yeah, I had nightmares off and on for a very, very long time.
Visualizing
Yes.
it, that's crazy. 2-year-olds don't usually remember stuff.
Yeah.
But I guess if it's something like that,
Yeah.
it'll stick with you.
I guess just the level of trauma.
Was it me that made you stop having nightmares? Was that what it was?
Yes, Cody, you made me feel whole again.
You told me that at one point in time.
It may have been.
I mean, the timelines line up.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Like 25 years of nightmares, and then
and then it just stopped.
So apart from like your trauma, how were your parents like growing up, like you and your stepdad, and like how were they?
For the most part, I mean, things were good. I mean, I don't remember any like significant arguments or fights until like towards the end of their marriage. But I do know that I guess I feel like he spent more time away. They both had full-time jobs, but he would have like other little things that he did. He owned a bar for a while, and just had different little things that he would go off and do at times that he had free time. We did go do things as a family. Like we went camping a lot, and we went on vacations and stuff like that. So, I don't really remember any arguments or anything like that. But once they did start to separate, it was
Right, because they're not together anymore.
Right,
so.
They're not together anymore. So it was pretty unbearable when they were in the midst of separating. There were a lot of arguments and yelling, and I guess just kind of threatening each other, and I don't know.
Yeah.
It was. I do remember once they were in the middle of an argument, and I had come into the kitchen. I don't know, probably to get some kind of random snack, as I do. But I'd come into the kitchen. He had come home, and I guess they had been arguing on the phone on his way home, and I was just excited to see him. So I said, "Hey, Dad," and I jumped up and gave him a hug, and my mom came down the hall and said, "Put her the fuck down." And I was like, "What?" So,
I feel like we've done stuff like that a little bit. Like, I'm like, if we're arguing and I'm angry, I'm just taking her to the park. Like, you're not taking her to the park. Like more to the like I don't want you to take her to the park when you're so mad.
Yeah, I think that's more what it is. It's not that like
I don't trust you anymore.
Right. It's not that I don't trust you or I don't want you to be around her, but I know that you're upset.
Yeah.
And
or in your mom's case, like I know something that she doesn't know, so.
Yeah. So it's more so just
like if he was upset and drinking or whatever they were talking about on the phone. I don't know what they were talking about on the phone.
Yeah, so it's more just like I don't want you leaving, because I do know that there have been times, and not saying that you have ever done anything like getting drunk or something and then coming home and then trying to take Ella to the park. But there were times that my mom would be so upset and arguing.
Just take an Uber.
Right. You could just walk to the park. It's right
Yeah.
it's right there. But, you know, I know that I have been in the car with my mother when it would not have been advised.
Yeah.
And so I don't ever want either of us to, you know, if we're in the middle of an argument,
Yeah.
separate her from home, basically. I don't want her to go anywhere with us because.
Yeah, I gotcha. And I have to wonder, 'cause, I mean, my parents did argue too. And I do feel like there was a period of time where their arguments were worse, that it was more concerning. I mean, it sucks as a kid to watch your parents argue. It's kind of scary. And yeah, I don't know if it ever even came to the point of separating, but like I feel like there were times in their relationship it seemed like a possibility, but you know, much like us, like maybe going through that made them stronger, I think. Because they don't argue so much anymore.
Yeah, I don't think
Or
I've ever seen
maybe it
your
was just
parents
me and my
argue.
sister. Maybe no, we're gone.
Maybe you guys being gone
Yeah.
just kind of chilled the place out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, your parents seem, just knowing them for the last, 4 or 5 years, seem like they have a very good relationship. And,
Yeah. And it's interesting too, because earlier today, I asked my mom like how they argued, like what, and she said she would try to say sorry too quickly. She would try to say sorry before she was sorry. And my dad would carry a grudge for a long time, which is kind of interesting because I don't necessarily say sorry too quickly, but I try to fix it too quickly. I try to fix it immediately.
You do.
Because to me, I'm like, I don't like this feeling inside me. I want it to go away. So the quickest way to make it go away is to fix it now. And then we both kind of do the grudge thing. Like we've carried on some grudges for
days.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely, I prefer if we get into an argument for us to both kind of cool down for a little while. I definitely prefer to talk to you about it when I'm more in a calm state of mind rather than when I'm right there in the moment and upset still, because I tend to say things that I don't mean, say things that are unkind.
Been there, done that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think a lot of people, when you're in the moment and you're, continuously being pushed to try to make a resolution when you're not ready, feel that way. It's frustrating. And I just, if I want you to leave me alone, just leave me alone and we'll fix it in a little while. Just,
So to close up, do you have any advice for anyone who's young and has had a serious traumatic event?
Talk about it. Talk about it with people that care about you and want to help you. I think that's the best thing that you can do to work through your own trauma.
Are you ready to talk about some lighter subjects?
Yeah. Yeah.
These my dollars make it hurt.
So the question I want to ask you at the beginning of the first segment, which I think now I know the answer to, because I was listening to a podcast yesterday of this girl whose mother died when she was a child. And for the longest time, and even now, she said like she didn't feel like she could date someone who didn't have that trauma.
Okay.
And
She didn't feel like she could date someone that didn't have.
or I'd been through something, and I was like, I wonder if she's ever felt like that. Meaning you.
No, I've never felt like that. And I think a lot of that is because, like I said, I didn't really feel like I had a lot of childhood trauma until I was older, when I was in high school. So
we're good.
ignorance is bliss, I suppose.
So we're good.
We're good.
Okay. Okay. So we're going to play Truth or Drink again. Now, before we made this podcast, we kind of came up with some pillars that we wanted to kind of be our foundation. And one of them was transparency. And that showed very evident last week when nobody drank because we were just willing to answer whatever.
Yeah.
So maybe there's a question out there that we won't answer, but hopefully sticking true to our foundation, that does not happen. So we can just drink as we please and answer
Down with that.
questions because we're probably going to answer them all again.
Yeah.
So that seems silly.
Probably.
Okay. So on par with our first segment is name a funny childhood story or a crazy childhood story.
Crazy I got.
Yeah. Got a lot of those.
Funny childhood story. I don't know if it was funny to anybody else. It was funny to me. So this guy that I was dating in high school, we were texting and just kind of talking. And I think that we had kind of had a little bit of an argument, but I fell asleep.
As per usual.
And I stopped texting him. And I guess he got worried or something, but he tried to sneak over to my house. And so he parked a little ways away from my house and walked over. But somehow my mom saw him and saw him trying to walk down because my room was in kind of not the basement, but the den area. And there was an outside door to the room. So she saw him trying to walk down there. So she walked outside and grabbed him.
She intercepted him.
She intercepted and brought him inside. And so her and my dad are like, you know, really pissed off because thinking that like I'm sneaking him over for like
Yeah.
something inappropriate. Like she comes downstairs, wakes me up, thinks that I'm lying about sleeping, and here like drags me upstairs, and here I'm like just kind of like walking up the stairs half awake. So they're like yelling and fussing and threatening, and she's like, I know you were awake, and I know this, and I know that. And I'm just sitting here so confused and so tired. And I looked at the guy I was dating, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, I was just
That is
asleep.
so on par with you
I
as a
was just
person.
asleep.
That is so you.
There's got to be so many times that I have fallen asleep mid-conversation with you.
Yeah, and like during our
God.
arguments, man, I just lay awake in the bed, like, you know, just gears are turning. Like, man, I
Dude,
can't
I'm
sleep.
snoring.
You're out.
I'm snoring.
You're passed out.
Sleep is my best friend.
But that dude, yeah, that dude, I guess that dude was just in love with you. But, or, I don't know, high school. It was high school?
Mm-hmm.
High school love's crazy, man. God, this girl broke up with me. This is a theme. Girls have broken up with me a time or two.
Yeah. You don't say.
And I was like, I'm driving to your house right now. You know, we're going to fix this right now. I'm coming to your house. And she's like, I'm giving her this whole spill. And she's like, okay, no, never mind. We'll figure it out. Which really meant, don't come to my house.
I don't want to see
I
you
will
right
just
now.
break up with you later, and I'll figure it out then.
I'll figure
So
out how to
guys,
handle
you
you in
guys
a
do
little while.
crazy things in high school.
Yeah. Well, this wasn't, I mean, I wouldn't say it was my first love. It was high school
Yeah.
love, I guess. But yeah, it was just crazy.
I have probably several crazy, funny stories. I remember one time, which I think I've mentioned this before on here, and you know this for a fact, that I cannot handle marijuana.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot smoke it.
Yeah.
I spiral. I panic. I don't have
Yes, you
fun.
do.
It's always bad. But for whatever reason in high school, this guy was like, do you want to smoke in my car after school? And I was like, sure, because I'm an adventurous fella. And I had to work like at 5, and school gets out at what, like 2:15.
Mm-hmm.
So I do, and then he drives us around. We're just driving around, and I'm like already freaking out. I'm like, I don't want to be in the car. Like, this is a roller coaster. I'm done. And then I get back to my car, and he leaves. I'm like, all right, I gotta go to work. And my car won't start because I left the lights on. So I had to get my friend to come jump in my car, and then I go to work, and I'm just scared out of my mind. And I'm just turning around. It was in an ice cream shop, and I'm just in the chair by the cash register just spinning for like 45 minutes. And my boss comes out, and she's like, we're not very busy. You could just go home. And I'm like, oh, thank God. So I beeline to Taco Bell, beeline home, beeline to my room. And then like 2 days later, I have another shift, and my friend Patrick was like, hey, Rosie said she sent you high the other day because she sent you home the other day because you were high. And I was like, oh.
Oops.
Yeah.
Was it that obvious?
Yeah. And
Yeah,
then,
I can say for a fact it probably was.
yeah. Oh, God. And then, this isn't really funny. So by this point, I had discovered I don't like weed. And, like, me and my friend were going to smoke salvia in the woods at a park, like a wilderness park. And which salvia was completely legal. It's a legal psychedelic that you could buy at a gas station.
Right.
And it makes you trip for like 2 minutes, and then you're back to normal. So that's what we're doing. And like while we're there, these park rangers come up to us, and like we stand up, and then like at the same time, this park ranger and me see this bag of weed fall out of my friend's pocket, and I'm just like, oh God. So yeah, it's hard to be like, no, we were just trying to smoke salvia. Like, don't worry. We were just trying to trip balls. That's it.
Right.
And the funny thing is, because I had like no tolerance for weed, like we were smoking out of his stupid weed pipe, so I was actually high from like the resin in it. And they were there to search for a dead body.
Oh.
That's why they were there.
Jesus.
Otherwise, normally no park rangers there. So we get arrested. This is now expunged because I was 17. It's completely off my record, but yeah, I went to jail for something I didn't even partake in. I didn't even care about or enjoy. It was like the most Cody thing to happen to me.
Yeah, that is the most Cody thing.
And then
that
I
could
can't be
happen.
like, I could pass a drug test because I couldn't, because there was resin.
Residue.
No, I think it's called resin. Residue. I'm not sure.
I think resin is like a coating.
Whatever it was. I mean, whatever was left over there was enough.
Yeah.
All right.
I do have a similar story to that, actually. That was pretty funny. I had to drive my mom's car for a little while when mine had broken down, and I was with a couple of friends, and we just went to the little lake or the beach part at the Boone Dam, and on the way we were going to leave, I ran a stop sign. I didn't run it, but I didn't stop long enough. And so there was a cop that was there. He pulled me over, and my mom had a half-smoked joint in the ashtray. And so, yeah, trying to explain to them that's my mom's. They didn't really.
We heard that one before.
Yeah, they didn't really seem to believe me, but it was luckily a very cool cop. He just kind of like smushed it up on the ground. And
because you're also not like a pot smoker.
No, I'm not.
So.
I've never really enjoyed pot. I think that it smells just awful.
Don't smell good.
I did grow up in a house where it was smoked quite a bit, so the smell does not bring back good memories to me. So
It's legal now.
yeah, still don't like it. Okay, so
I wish I read your questions before, actually.
transparency though, bro. Okay. So, someone who has never met me asks you what I'm like. How do you answer?
Oh, I mean, this happens all the time. Yeah. Very neat, very organized.
True.
Like, often, like, I know we don't probably live in the greatest neighborhood, but, like, I'm like, I want you guys to come to our house so you can be like, oh, this is nice. And it's not because of me. It's because of you. So that's the first
true.
thing that comes to my mind.
That's true.
You're very organized and clean.
Thank you. I am.
What else do I tell them about you? Today at work, someone said, because I was talking a lot, and they're
As
like,
you do.
as I do, and they were like, do you do this at home? I'm like, dude, if I get like a beer or two in me, I'll just be in the bedroom like blah 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 blah. And my friend was like, how does your wife not slap you? And I was like, I guess she just loves me. It's a good question.
Also true. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But what else? Okay, you're not very adventurous in your own right, but you're willing to go on an adventure.
Mm-hmm.
You're not really the type that's like, I have this crazy plan. I have this great idea.
Yeah.
But if I come up with one, like, it doesn't take a lot to convince you.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm usually just like along for the ride.
Yeah. So that's cool because, yeah, I like that. And I tell them that you're hot too, or beautiful.
Okay.
Just depend on my mood. Was your childhood happier than the average person's?
Well, I feel like we answered this in the first segment. That's a hard question to answer, honestly, because it shouldn't have been. But
Should not have been.
I definitely have a lot of good memories from my childhood. So yeah, I had a happy childhood.
Not the answer I was expecting, but yeah, that makes sense after.
Yeah, I definitely had a happy childhood. I would not say it was.
Thanks to your mom and just your
Yes.
blind perception of
Yes,
life.
my complete ignorance.
Your
to-
obliviousness.
Yeah. Probably another word you should start using to describe me. Oblivious, because
Fair
it's
enough.
accurate.
Fair enough.
It is accurate. Okay. Oh yeah, this one's one I want to know. When was the last time you spoke to an ex? What was it about? And was there any tension?
It's gonna be hard to think of off the top of my head. No tension, because I mean, as you know, like there's at least some exes that I talked to for a bit after, casually. Like the exes that there would be tension with. I don't even know if there would be exes that I have tension with. I remember when we were on vacation in Asheville, I posted a story on Instagram, and one of my exes said, like, I live in Asheville. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Wait, do you want to come over? Like, what? Why are you telling me that? Maybe, I think my ex, who we watched her dog, emailed, messaged me. She wrote me with a pen and feather.
As
like,
per
"Dear
my last
Cody."
email.
Yeah. She messaged me like about our wedding, so that was probably like 5 months ago. Like congratulating us.
Oh gosh, have we already been married for 5 months?
Probably about 5 months, 5 or 6
Oh,
months.
that seems crazy.
So that was probably it. Yeah.
That's not exciting at all. So,
Well,
all right.
What did you think it was gonna be?
I don't know. Something that you'd want to drink instead of answer?
Oh no.
No, you're not like that.
No, because like you've known, I've never had like any continual conversation. Maybe like even probably with her, like there'll be something that pops up like once a year, and she'll message me and we'll like talk back and forth like 4 or 5 messages, and then that's it.
Okay.
What about you?
The last time I talked to an ex? Oh gosh. It was several years ago, and it was, well, not several, I guess like 2 years ago.
When I met her?
When my dog Jessie passed away. I did call and let her know that she had passed. So that was the last
Oh,
time
yeah.
that we had talked.
That was shortly after I met her.
Yeah.
She was cool.
Yeah, fucking a hell of a lot cooler after we stopped
That's usually how it
dating.
goes. That's
Her
usually
life,
how it goes.
dude, her life got like so much cooler after
Yeah,
we
she was like
stopped
traveling the
dating.
world.
Yeah, like, bro, where was that energy? Like,
What are you doing?
I don't know. She's being real needy, bringing me sticks and stuff.
Okay. I don't have any of that. How
Go get
are
your
we
stick.
wrong for each other romantically?
Romantically?
Yeah.
I actually do have a decent answer for this. We just butt heads a lot. We are a lot alike in that we both have a hard time seeing each other's point of view, I think, in some situations. Like, I think that my way of doing things is the right way, and your way of doing things is the wrong way. And I think that you think the same thing. So I think it's just that we are both very, what's the word I'm looking
Stubborn?
for? Yeah. Yeah, we're both very stubborn. I think that we've worked on that quite a bit. But there are definitely still times that's probably like the number one reason that we get in arguments is just that we are both very stubborn.
Yeah, for sure. Or definitely the number one reason for why our arguments used to last as long as they
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
It's not my turn.
Oh, it's my turn. Okay. What is the meanest thing you have ever seen me do?
You're kind of mean in drive-thrus.
I'm not mean in drive-thrus.
You're kind of. I feel like you're a little demeaning.
I'm not.
I feel like in drive-thrus you act like they're just robots and not real people who are working like low-wage jobs and are just trying to make it.
No, that's not true at all. I literally could never handle the stress of working at a drive-thru
Me
or like a
either.
restaurant, period. I could never handle it.
Anytime I'm like, I don't like my job, I just visualize being in a drive-thru and I'm like, no, I can do this.
Yeah. Yeah. Like there's no way that I could handle that stress. I'm not rude. The thing is that I have a problem with speaking lowly, like quietly, I guess.
It's like RBI. Do you know what RBI is?
Resting bitch something.
Oh, resting bitch face. That wouldn't be an RBI. Is RBI like a baseball term? Like
I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, but maybe you have that, but with your voice. I think RBI is a baseball term.
Okay. Well, I do. I have been told before that I have RBF, which
That's
I
what
do.
meant.
I do. But no, it's not that. It's just I speak very quietly a lot of times, and so they, are always like, "Well, I can't hear you. Can you say that again?" So I always just try to speak up, and when I speak up, I guess I just have a tone.
Rude.
I'm not trying to be rude. If I ever come through the drive-thru and you think I'm being rude, I'm really not. I promise.
Why are you looking at the camera? Do you think you're going to go to any of
Because I'm telling anybody that is watching this, if you work at a drive-thru and I have been through your drive-thru and you thought I was rude, I'm sorry. I wasn't. I was just trying to speak
I changed
up.
my answer to just probably something horrific you said about me in a moment of heat.
Yeah, that's probably
Probably the answer.
accurate.
Okay. When was the last time you cried? What happened?
Like 10 minutes ago
Oh,
when
yeah.
we were talking.
That was easy.
When we were talking about our childhood trauma.
I'm
The
a crier
time
too.
before that, I don't remember, honestly. No, I do. Very recently. It was yesterday. I had a very stressful day. I had actually woken up late. I had forgotten to take my seizure medication, and I was just feeling all kinds of stressed. And when I took a shower, I cried a little bit. I felt better.
Okay. That's fair.
Got out of the shower. We were all good. So
I feel like I cry more than like a normal 29-year-old man. Like I feel like I cry like.
what was the last thing that you cried about?
I cried. I cried at work the other day, just thinking about how I could and should be a better person. So
Well, that's very enduring.
I guess so. Probably should have been working.
Probably. Terrible employee. All right. What song reminds you of me whenever you hear it?
I mean, that one's easy. You probably know the answer.
Moon Taxi.
Yeah, it'd have to be River Water. I mean, it was
Yeah.
our first favorite song by Moon Taxi.
Yeah.
It's what we danced to at our wedding. It's the band that we've been to more than any other band.
Yeah.
Yeah, so definitely River Water by Moon Taxi.
Yeah. Same. Just because it is, when we first started talking, we did talk quite a bit about music. That was something we connected about, and Moon Taxi was
Yeah. I mean, there's
something that
plenty.
we both shared.
There's plenty of songs but that would be the number one.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll do one more. Or did I start? You started.
Yeah, I started.
Is there something that you love about me that you don't think other people understand or maybe wouldn't like about me?
Your ridiculous, stupid sense of humor.
Kind of good.
Yeah, you have a very dark sense of humor. You joke about things that a lot of people would and do, I think, look at you and they're like, what the hell is this dude doing? But like, it's so lighthearted. I always know that you are joking, and that's something that I love that I think a lot of people don't understand.
That happened to me at work today.
Of course it did. I think it
I
happens to you every day.
I was walking down the stairs, and one of the front desk workers like came in and I like jumped. And I was like, you scared me. She's like, why are you scared so easy? And I was like, my dad used to beat me growing up. But she definitely, like, she smiled. And she was like, just keep that to yourself next time.
You work at a behavioral health center, like with counselors. She was probably thinking we need to get you in with an employee here.
All right, we've got a tough next segment. So
I
let's
don't
get
want to
to
do
it.
the next segment. You want to just keep doing questions?
These my dollars make it hurt.
Okay, the day has finally come.
I'm having flashbacks already.
I've convinced you to do a challenge that doesn't just affect me.
Yeah.
I don't know how I did it. Actually, I do know how I did it. So what we're doing is we're going to eat the alleged world's hottest gummy bear. Mm-hmm. Now, back over Christmas, we ate the world's hottest chip.
Yeah.
Which I think it's fair to say we both
I think that was Thanksgiving.
underestimated.
We definitely did. I definitely did. Because we went to your family's house. I think it was actually Thanksgiving. And so we wanted to do kind of the hot ones challenge. So we had a bunch of hot sauces. Your mom air fried some bomb ass wings. And, we put the hot sauces on them and it was fine. Even, I've had the bomb before and it just doesn't taste good, in my opinion.
In everybody's opinion.
Yeah, it doesn't taste good. Not that it's just so hot that it's not, I can't stand it. It just doesn't taste good to me. So that was fine. And then somehow you and Krista convinced me to do the hot chip challenge. And I was oblivious because I hadn't really heard of the hot chip a whole lot. So I was like, okay, whatever.
Yeah,
it's one chip.
I thought it would be like, it'd be like the bomb in chip form.
Yeah. That's kind of what I was thinking. And so we ate it. And that was terrible.
It was worse than you could ever imagine.
It was so awful. It was so dry. It also did not taste good.
And it hurt.
It hurt for like 20 minutes.
Real life pain.
Real life, super bad pain. We tried. Milk didn't touch it. Drinking water was awful.
I think I like the tens unit more than the pain of that chip.
Yeah. No,
and the reason I think that I convinced you to do this, because I'm likely to soon be a victim of the same thought process. It's just a gummy bear.
Yeah.
It's not a chip. It's not going to take you 10 minutes to eat.
Yeah, because the chip was very dry. It took a long time to get it down, so it felt like it kind of stuck there. This being a gummy, I had a gummy earlier, and It was delicious. It was a multivitamin.
So on top of that,
This
we're
is
gonna
not a multivitamin.
we're gonna eat the gummy bear, and then we're going to rehearse our wedding vows
read
to
our
each
wedding
other.
vows. Yeah. Attempt.
Yeah, which I already like don't love the idea behind that, because I remember on our reception night, I had our friend read both our wedding vows to see like are they comparable, and he was like yours were better.
Being mine.
Yeah, yours. And
I did
on our
realize. I did realize today they are a lot longer. So it's not something I'm looking forward to.
yeah. And during our wedding, when you were reading them, in my head, I was like, damn, they are better. I was like, crap. I was like panicking. I was like,
Better words.
when he said
than
that, I
you.
was like, do I need to go rewrite them tonight? I don't know what to do. They were good. A good writer. So I guess I have to relive that with just more pain. And maybe we can reflect on if you still think those are true, considering like the pain I will have talked you into going through. Not the pain of our marriage, but the pain of this gummy
the
bear.
pain of it all in general.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not really excited.
All right. Well, let's try it out. It's just a gummy bear.
It's just one little gummy bear.
Oh,
It
you
looks
know what?
like a very unassuming. Tucking your shirt in.
No, I'm not. I think we're gonna sweat.
Oh. So this is it. It's just a very unassuming little gummy bear. Looks like a little cherry or strawberry. I don't know, whatever the red is.
It is so unassuming. I think it won't be as bad as the chip, but only time will tell.
If it's worse than the chip, we might get a divorce. I don't know. It has.
Oh, it's
what
rock
is it?
hard.
Oh no! What's it holding? Oh, this doesn't even feel like a gummy. It feels like a hard candy.
It's holding a dynamite stick or something.
Oh shit!
All right. So we'll see how it goes. You're doing your vows first. You want to cheers me?
Oh jeez Christ!
You're gonna hate me so much. I'm already.
Yeah, I am. Let me get my vows up because I don't memorize them.
Leave me hanging.
Sorry. Okay, I'm just gonna go first. Oh shit.
Oh, you're gonna go ahead and start reading it?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah, it's already hot. Cody, I feel so lucky to be standing here with you today.
Do you?
Of all of all the places that you've been and the people that you have met on your journey, somehow you ended up
It's
here
not-
with me.
It's not. Get through it.
You're kind and caring and thoughtful and philosophical. You're passionate and sincere, and I feel so fortunate to have found somebody who encourages me to better myself. I can't chew it.
Yeah, it's hard.
And support to my goals and ambitions. I got heartburn. As we continue to grow in our lives together, I promise.
Oh my god, I can't swallow it.
I can't talk. I have hiccups.
Okay. Come on, I gotta get to mine. Woo.
To give you words of encouragement when they're needed, and to support you in silence when they're not. I promise to be your constant love, your place of calmness,
I don't throw up.
comfort, your biggest supporter, your best friend. I always. Oh, shoot. Oh, shit.
Oh, you're crying.
Shut up. I promise to always remember that your human treat you with kindness, love, with an open heart, and an open mind.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Did you swallow yours?
Yeah. Please don't throw up on the rug.
Are you done? Oh my god.
Although I know that there will be periods of adversity ahead of us, I'll keep these promises and know that we will not only withstand all that life has in store, but we will thrive together as one. In all the world, there is no heart for me like yours. And in all the world, there is no love for you like mine. Oh.
Oh my God, what are... Okay. I don't know. Okay. Oh. Okay. Casey. Oh, well, always love you and be here. Okay. We sound like we're crying.
Oh, God.
Okay. I don't know if I can do this. Casey, I'll always be here for you and love you and support you on your dreams and whatever you want to accomplish. I will strive to never let you forget how amazing you are. Whew. You're beautiful, strong, independent, and accomplished. And caring. Oh my God. You were a dedicated and loving mother who inspires me to be a better father. You've encouraged me to follow my dreams. Fuck, I got locked out. Oh, okay. God, this sucks. You've encouraged me to follow my dreams even if you knew it could make your life harder. You've sacrificed time, money, energy to help me achieve my goals. You've taught me how to stand up for myself when I didn't want to. And I promise to do the same for you. I promise to continue to learn from you and grow with you. I've learned so much from you. I've grown in ways I never could have without you, and I'm so proud of who I've become. I promise to never forget the hard times we had as a testament to what we can overcome and what working hard and pursuing love can accomplish. Most importantly, I promise to always love you. I will love you for always. I will like you forever. And I can't wait for all the beautiful adventures that we'll have.
I do. Oh, God.
This is kind of funny, dude, because it looks like we're just so emotional reading these to each other. All right, we'll see you next week.